Hey, everybody, welcome back to the Kyle Beats podcast. My name is Kyle Beats. This is episode 4 of the video version of the podcast, and it's episode 42 of the total podcast. If you haven't checked out the audio version of this and you're watching the video version of this, make sure you check out the audio version of it, because you can listen to it while you're driving or while you're blah, 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 while you're doing anything, whatever you do in your day. It's on iTunes, Spotify, wherever you listen to podcasts. It's everywhere. SoundCloud too. If you guys listen on SoundCloud, the audio version, it's lit. So today's episode of the podcast is a Q&A type of podcast. For those of you who do listen to the video or who do listen to the audio version and have been listening, I used to do this thing called Voice Memo Q&A podcast, where you guys would send me voice memos and I would answer questions, and it was cool. It was crazy. When I started hearing your guys' voices asking me questions, it really put like a personal touch to it that I've never had before, because all I see is numbers. I don't see it's an Instagram accounts and logos with your producer name as it or whatever. So it was cool to hear you guys' voices. But since we're doing a video version of this amazing podcast, I decided, we should use the Instagram DM video thing. I'll screen record it, throw it up on the screen somewhere here, and do the same thing. So that's what I did. And I actually got so many responses, and I'm hyped. And I just screen recorded all of them, and they're great questions. I already forget every single question. I was kind of just focusing on screen recording it. But I will say before this gets started, it's crazy, dude. This whole thing is so crazy. Like, I just feel like I'm putting out videos on YouTube and building numbers, and like you're just seeing all these comments and DMs, and you're kind of just, I hate to say it, but you get kind of used to just seeing all the DMs and stuff. But when I see people's faces and people sending me, that's why I always just repost when people are playing my song or listening to my podcast in their car or doing something like that, because it's just so crazy, man. Like, I just think of myself the exact same way. It's crazy that you guys are all following me, and I don't know, it's crazy. But yo, Kyle, this shit crazy. I got my iced coffee. I got my KB hats. Please go buy them, because I wasted so much money buying these things like a year and a half ago. I never promote them. So if you want a hat, a dad hat with my logo, it's literally the hat I wear every time I wear a hat. So it's a fire hat, and I just put my logo on it. Anyways, let's get into this podcast right now. Voice Memo episode 42. I'm going to have to edit this a little bit just because, to make everything cleaner. This first question is from It's Just Freud. Here's his question.
Hey Kyle, so I wanted your opinion on one thing. What do you think of uploading beat tapes to Spotify for streaming, like trap stuff?
What do I think about uploading beats to Spotify? Beat tapes. I like beat tapes. I personally like the idea of trying to of course, I'm putting out music like with my vocals on it, but if you're strictly just trying to be a producer, I really like the idea of trying to brand yourself as much as possible. Like, let people know who you are. It's just going to bring more value to you, and a good way of doing that is to put out a beat tape. And with Spotify, nowadays and all that stuff, you never know. Like, maybe you might just blow up that way. Someone who does a really good job of that is, he doesn't really make trap beats, but is Lakey. I mean, I guess he has some like 808s and trappy elements to him. But he makes beats. He has a dope brand, and he just puts out stuff on Spotify, and it does really well, and it gets into playlists. Like, people will listen to beats on Spotify. I look at it more of a way to brand yourself. It's a great way to just brand yourself and just kind of separate yourself instead of just being like a producer. It just gives your brand, whatever your name is, like more. It just brings more to your brand. So I like it. I like the idea. Next one is from DNZL Beats with Z. He said, "Don't judge the t-shirt. I'm lounging, bro." Here's the question.
Hey man, my question to you is, if you had to pick one VST to have for basically the rest of your beatmaking career, what would it be? So like Netflix, Omnisphere, Toxic Biohazard, I don't know. Sweet, please.
My initial instinct is to say Omnisphere, obviously. because that's just the thing people are using right now. I've used Nexus for a while before that, and like the sound is more just coming from Omnisphere and like all that stuff. It depends, because there's plugins like, I think it's Citrus on FL Studio. It's like an FL Studio stock plugin. You can make anything from that plugin. It's not just synths, it's not just pianos, or it's not just whatever. You can literally make 808s. You can make all sorts of stuff from that plugin. Honestly, I'd probably have to say Omnisphere though, because if you had drum kits and all that stuff, like, yeah, I think as of right now, I'd probably have to say Omnisphere. Shout out to Omnisphere. This next one is from _Blake.zip. Here's his question.
Yo, what's up, Kyle? My name is Blake, and my question is, since you're always telling us to try something new and see what works and do something different, my question is, how much of your stuff is planned and how much of it is you just throwing stuff out and seeing what works?
A lot of the stuff that I film, like a lot of my vlogs and all that stuff, isn't really planned. It depends. I think today, for example, I'm going to film a beat making vlog, just because the previous video, as you're watching this, was the one that me and Gami did a collab. The one before that was like a cinematic type of video where I was just making a beat with commentary over it. There's been a lot of studio videos lately. I kind of just want to film less of that, and it's not really, it's more just to keep everything fresh for me and for the people watching. I kind of just go back and forth, but when I'm filming a video like I'm filming today, it's kind of just unplanned and just kind of vlogging the day. And then when I go down to make some music, film some of that stuff, I'll probably just make a beat just to make a beat, and maybe work on a song, maybe work on some other stuff and just film it along the way. And I've just been filming videos for so long that you get a lot better at throwing it together. It's almost like when you get better at making beats. If X rapper or whatever person was about to walk in the room and you needed a beat in like 5 minutes, if you built up the skills, you'd just be able to throw it together a lot better. That's how I feel about the vlogs, is I can just film a bunch of stuff, and in the editing process, I'm able to like tell a story. I try to plan out as much as possible. Here, the way I plan is it's very vague planning. For example, when I'm filming a video or a podcast, I'm not planning out the things I'm trying to say. I just want to make sure, like for example, if I was doing a podcast, I would have things written down on topics I would just want to touch on, depending on who the person is that I'm talking with, because I just like everything that's just natural. Same with the videos. I'm not planning anything out. I'm just kind of, if I was doing a tutorial, I would have all the things planned out that I would want to touch on, and then just let it go from there. That way things aren't too robotic. I just don't like when things are too robotic. And that, even when I was in like school, I first started doing this. Like if I was going to do like a presentation or some shit, and I was horrible at talking at the time, I would just kind of write down words or things that I could come back to, or things that I needed to talk about. But I wouldn't, you'd see some people and it's just the entire thing they want to say just written down. So I like to have some freedom when it comes to everything, and I just want to get good enough at stuff that I could just, oh, so this person's about to walk in the room, let's do a podcast, and just bang, just do the whole thing. Same with everything. I just want to, that's the way I like to think. But I think just doing and just throwing stuff out and seeing what works, do that as much as possible, and you'll just, I don't know, I just love that shit. Video version. All right, this next one is from Maxam Bult, MAXAMBEAULT, Bult. Let's listen to it.
Yo, Kyle, I gotta ask one thing. If you could change one thing about the music industry right now, what would you change? More like producer side. Peace out.
I don't know, man. I don't know what I would. I don't really mess with the industry stuff, but obviously I'm in the music industry. If I'm filling out my taxes, and what industry are you in? Oh, you know what I would change, dude? This is what I would change. I would have it so DistroKid don't sponsor me, but I'm always shouting them out. I would have so everyone has to use a system similar to DistroKid. So fuck, they don't sponsor me. You guys need to sponsor me. Come on, I'm always shouting you guys out. On DistroKid, when you collaborate with someone like this, for the songs that I have, the I'm Here song, it was produced by me, or it's produced by Cody, Kyle Stemberger and me. I had some shit on there. When I was doing all the splits, you can just do it on DistroKid, so that usually the way it works with a label, or even if you are an independent artist, say I'm an independent artist, I put out a song, I'm just an artist, I'm not a producer. I grab you and this other producer, you guys collab on a beat, you send it to me, I'm the last person that touches it, so I'm putting out the song. Usually the way it works with like TuneCore and all these other distribution things is all the money just goes to me, and it's the way that you get paid through streaming and all that stuff is so delayed. And obviously Spotify is usually the thing people are getting paid the most for. They don't pay out the most percentage wise, but it's usually how you make the most money because everyone's on Spotify and they pay really well. You get the money like 3 months delayed. You'd get the money about 3 months delayed, and then from there it comes down. It's a lot of work. Like if you had like 20 to 30 songs and you have all these different producers on the tracks, it is a lot of work to go through each one of these tracks, figure out who's doing it. It's a lot of work just to send away money. And that's why a lot of artists and labels don't even get to it, because you're putting in all this little bits of work to figure out percentages of this writer and this producer just to send the money off somewhere else. So that's why it takes so long. The thing I would change is I would have to have it so every fucking person, when they're submitting a song for streaming, would have to manually enter the splits like how DistroKid does, or even like BeatStars. Like if you guys have ever sold a beat and you split it with someone 50-50 and they sold it on their website, you get paid immediately the second it gets sold. Like that's what you do on Spotify. I have some like with independent artists that I produce a beat for them. It's 3 months delayed, but the second you get paid on Spotify, it gives me that 50% split directly to my DistroKid account, and it's just sitting in there. I don't have to hit up these artists. That's why, like, if someone doesn't have DistroKid or doesn't do it like that, I just sell them the exclusive, because I don't want to deal with that. There's no point. It's a waste of time. That's what I would change. And I thought I was about to say nothing, but I would change that. And I think, like, what was the word Russ used in that interview? Retroactive? Is that the word? Is that the right word? In the interview with Joe Budden, saying that streaming people need to be paying. Like, for example, YouTube pays AdSense money at the end of every single month. And he was saying Spotify and all that stuff needs to do that too. They just need to pay you the next month instead of waiting 3 months. Which is completely understand. I just got paid for my streaming on Spotify this past month from like May, which is like, that's how it works. It's 3 months. That's what I would change. All right, next one is from Bobo_prod.
Kyle, my question for the podcast is, which producer do you think is better, Zaytoven or Scott Storch?
Zaytoven or Scott Storch? First of all, I always say this, I don't think you can say anyone's better, but who do I like more as a producer? I was definitely influenced coming up more as a producer by Scott Storch. Like, I definitely watched a lot of Scott Storch, just like old, horrible quality, just like studio videos of him making beats. So I definitely got influenced. My first beats were all using those little, the wheel on the MIDI keyboard. I would always just use the wheel and just every single one of my melodies. And then I stopped doing that, because Scott Storch used to always do that with like his strings and stuff. So I was definitely more influenced by him coming up. But dude, Zaytoven's so fire, dude. Like that like he created a sound. Like he literally like created a sound, and that's just like, I think he's so influential in the way music is today. Like Zaytoven is such a huge part of why music even sounds the way it does today, is that just that style that he had. He literally just has his own sound. It's just like the hard, simple drums, banging 808s, and then just like the beautiful keys that he plays. Like every time he always just adds drums first. Like that's crazy. He just adds drums, 808s, kicks, hi-hat, clap, snare, and then just goes in the keys and just plays something beautiful, and then the organ, and it just all comes together. I can't answer that, dude. They both are definitely influential in their own ways. All right, this next one is from XV_beats ZW.
What's up, Kyle? I go by 3XZ Beats on Instagram. I have a few questions. Like, how did you go about with the numbers? How did you like pop out of YouTube? How did you like get viewers that big? Yeah, that's my question.
How did I go about the numbers and get viewers, get that many people watching my videos? Putting out content was the way I did it. This YouTube channel was the way I really like got everything out there. Like, obviously I was doing the thing on Instagram, but the video I posted 2 videos ago, why your beats aren't selling, I put a little like clip from 2017 of me when I was just posting beats. You could see I had like 1,200 subscribers, and then my videos were just getting like a couple hundred views every single video. But it just comes down to like when I started putting myself on camera more, it allowed people to like connect to something. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like it was a lot. I didn't succeed when I was just posting beats on YouTube. It just didn't work for me. But when I started putting myself on camera and using my camera skills and using my vlogging skills and just putting my personality out there more, that's what brought the subscribers in, along with the cool videos. So it's just posting content. That's it. And the thing is, it takes a lot longer. That's why I started with just trying to sell beats to people, because it was just something that just had direct payment. Like, you just hit someone up. Obviously not the first person you hit up is gonna want to buy your beat, but I was just hitting up as many people as possible, and you could just get paid that same day. Like, when you post content, it's more of like a longer term commitment, so it's harder to do from the start. I started with just posting videos, and I was like, this is cool, like I'm getting people to say this is dope, but it's not bringing me money. and then once I had the stream of income just from selling beats, then I was able to more comfortably post videos and not worry about trying to do anything with the brand and just build this brand. But yeah, posting content, like what are people, how are you going to build a following if nothing's there? It's like the biggest. I posted this on Twitter, I've posted this everywhere. When people DM me and say, hey, how do I get a bigger following? And I go to their page and there's like 2 posts. One of them is like a picture of their dog, and the other one is a beat coming out of their laptop speakers filmed on their phone. And it's like, dude, I can barely even hear this. So you have to like really evaluate. If you're asking yourself, how do I build my following, and go evaluate your channel, evaluate your Instagram, wherever you're trying to get followers, and be like, if I was some random person, would I go to this page and actually watch these videos? I think that's a good thing that I started doing, was really evaluating the way, I love watching YouTube videos. Obviously, everyone's on Instagram and Twitter. You have to look at the way you use these platforms and be like, all right, if I came across my channel, would I click on their page? Would I like this video on Instagram? Would I leave a comment? Would I actually watch this? Would I click on the video? Would I subscribe or whatever? This one is from CNueva_. I think he's from
Yo, what's good? I know you play football or soccer. I just want to know, what's your position, man? Because I love football and it's one of my passions. So, and you're one of my favorite producers. So, what position did you play? And yeah.
Great question. I played center mid, so I ran a lot. I was pretty in shape when I was. I'm actually more in shape now. I've been running like 3 miles a day. I'm in bed. I think I would do better at soccer right now if I went and played again in college than I did in college, just because I feel like my mindset is a lot better, because I feel like I was worried more about fucking up than I was about actually doing something. Because over time you mature and I don't know. I'm just constantly trying to get better, and I feel like my mindset is better, and I don't know. I feel like I would just do better now. But I did play center midfield, just like a holding center midfielder. All right, this next one is from T.Chauffeur.
Hey Kyle, I love the podcast. I was wondering, what's the best way to bring up an artist or a band as a producer, making music for them and promoting them?
The best way to bring up an artist or a band. I think building a relation, I think you have to, as I work on building teams, like I'm building a team for my music videos right now, I've been slowly just kind of building relationships here and there for people that can work with me doing things. And like, I am really bad at just like, I'm good at collaboration, but when it comes to my thing, I need to work on my collaboration because I'm so obsessive over like how things look and control and stuff like that. So I think building a good relationship with someone is the start. You have to, even if they're not the best, whether it's a rapper or you said a band, even if it's not the greatest artist on earth, but they just have some potential and you have a great relationship, I think that's the first thing you need to do. And then obviously make great music. If there's no products, you can't do anything with it. So you have to work on the music first. Like I was working on putting vocals over my songs for a year before I was confident enough to put one out, just because I needed to practice behind the scenes first, even though I showed some in the vlogs. And then from there, just getting it all out. Like it takes 2 seconds to upload things to DistroKid and oh, fuck, DistroKid, pay me. It takes 2 seconds just to get things on Spotify and Apple Music. I don't know, man. I don't know how I would promote my music without this fan base that I have, without you guys that I have right now. Like it would be hard to just put out music without anyone even following it. I think just put out as much as possible and just try to get it to people. I think too, if you're making really good music, hit up the YouTube pages and just try to get it in people's hands, like influencers like that need don't track your royalties down on YouTube. Don't track anything down, and just get the music in the hands of like YouTube vloggers that need royalty free music. That's a big thing that I would do. And just slow, like that grind it's like the YouTube grind. It's just a slow roll. You're not going to see any returns at the beginning, but eventually the payoff is huge. So that's what I would do. Those are my tips. This next is from QKI Beats to me. Let's hear it.
Yo, Kyle. Can we expect the whole album from you? Peace.
Can we expect a whole album from me? Eventually, I would like to put out an album, but right now at this moment it doesn't make sense. I want to just keep putting out singles. Like I just got started. I don't think an album would be worth it for me right now. I don't think it would be worth it. I think I'm just going to keep putting out singles for now. Try to get music videos for as many of them that make sense. I'm getting a lot better at planning all that stuff out. It's just a work in progress. Just trying to just do all that. But eventually once I really build like the Spotify and get like, I don't know, like 20 more songs, you know what I mean? I need more songs. I just need to pump songs out right now. So I'm not even thinking about that, but 100% I'll have like a debuted album that I put out. And that would be dope. It would be so fun to just package something like that together and promote it. But next one. All right, this next one is from Holy Waters Music. Let's hear it.
Holy Waters Music. I was just wondering if you touch up in your next podcast on what loving music means to you, being in a studio, producing, engineering every single day on a day-to-day basis, back to back, what it means to you.
What loving music means to me. I mean, music was, I've said this before, I've said this a few times, but music and making beats was the thing that I just kept coming back to. I've tried many things creatively. I feel like I consider myself a creative entrepreneur. I don't think I could just I'm not like an entrepreneur that could live my whole life just like building up a company and having 100 employees that I'm managing every day and I'm like the CEO of a company. That's not the type of entrepreneur I am. I do like to sell things. Like it was fun when I was trying stuff on Amazon and eBay and just trying to buy random things and sell it. When I was in high school, a freshman in high school, this is like 2007 was my freshman year in high school, which is crazy. Xbox 360 was out. It was out for a little bit at this point, and it was when all the Xboxes started getting messed up and started getting the Ring of Death, which was like the 3 rings. So when you buy an Xbox, it had like a standard 3-year warranty, no matter what. You didn't have to buy anything. It's just like the second you buy it from wherever, like an actual retailer, it had a 1-year or 3-year guaranteed warranty. So when all these Xboxes started getting fucked up, mine got fucked up. So I looked it up And I was like, damn, it's already been like a year or whatever. Like, is this still good? And then I looked it up online or whatever. I Googled it. It said, oh, every single Xbox has this 3-year warranty no matter what. So I sent my Xbox in, got it back, fixed, perfect. And I was like, hold up. I started going to Craigslist, and I started with my friend in high school. I bought his Xbox off of him for like a cheaper price, for like 50. They were like $200 at the time, or $300. I bought it for like 50 off of him because he just didn't want to deal with it. He got the Ring of Death, and then I sent it into Microsoft, and it took like 2-3 weeks to get back, and then I sold it for like 150, so I made $100. So like, I've always been an entrepreneur, but I know that it has to be in a creative space. I do videos, obviously. That's a love I have. I've made like apps. I've made like 2 games at this point. Actually, I've made like 2 app games. Only one of them actually went out. Just because I didn't have money at the time to fund the other one. Websites, like a lot of you guys know, I do a lot of creative stuff. I cut my own hair. Like, I consider myself a creative entrepreneur, but the thing I always kept coming back to was music. So like, that's the thing that I think that fuels everything. So it just means everything to me. And I think when you sit there and you make a melody and you just let that melody loop, or say you make a beat and just have it in the pattern and you're just like vibing out to it, letting it loop, that's the brewing pot for everything. Like, I started editing videos because I heard a song I really liked, and I wanted to make a Cristiano Ronaldo mixtape or montage to that song. So I would download a bunch of like games of Ronaldo playing or highlights of Ronaldo and put it together in the song. And like, when you see him, like, I was obsessed with soccer, I was obsessed with music, and I was putting together this video where he's doing this. Ronaldo was 18 years old at the time. Like, I was putting together this video of him doing these crazy like tricks and stuff like this right when the music drops. It just gave me goosebumps. When you create something from nothing, like this didn't exist before, that's just the brewing pot for everything. Like, I made a loop for this next song that I'm working on, and I want to do a music video for. I made a loop for it. I did a piano and I just put it in reverse, and I was just sitting there just letting it loop. I put drums over it. I ended up recording vocals for it. From there, you put it in a video, or this one didn't end up in a video or anything, but the possibilities are endless. From there, I can make a music video out of it, put it on Spotify. It could end, like, it all starts from letting something loop, in my opinion. That's where everything starts. People look at music like, oh, we got this great video, we need music for it. But if you really create something from scratch, I think it all starts with a loop. But all right, this next one is from blind underscore producer.
You probably get asked this question all the time, but how do you stay motivated when you ain't got much motivation?
One of the things that keeps me motivated when it comes to, we'll say it in a few different areas, but one of the things that keeps me motivated for me right now, if I'm feeling unmotivated, I'll just open up FL Studio and just like mess around with some stuff. Like, even if I open up Keyscape or something and nothing comes out, it's just all just garbage, I'll just even just like grab a loop or something and just drag it out so it's super pitched down to match my unmotivated mood. I'll reverse it so it's super just trippy and pitched down, and just put some drums over it. And even if nothing comes out of it, like usually something right now, I'll go to FL Studio and it will just wake me up. I think just there's nothing. I just think that there's nothing else that. What else am I gonna do? Like, the thing that I want to do is to keep growing. I was thinking about this earlier today. Like, if you are playing, like, I just want to keep growing. I just want to keep going. I want to be an artist. I want to be Kyle Beats. I want to have this company. I want to have this. I want to have the YouTube vlog. I want to be doing shows. I want to impact people's lives. I just want to keep growing and building them. That's like the natural things that humans want to do. If you got dropped in the wilderness in the year 6,000 BC. I don't know. That's crazy. What am I talking about? Just like a random, you got dropped to a random time in the middle of the wilderness. The first thing you're gonna do is find some fresh water, right? The first thing you do is find a fresh water source, because water is the first thing you need to survive, pretty much. Next thing you're gonna do is find shelter, and then once you get the shelter and you get the fresh water, you're gonna go try to find food. So you're probably gonna hunt, or depending on where you are, find some sort of food that you can survive off, maybe fish if you're on a desert island. From there, you're going to build your shelter even more, and you're just going to keep building and building and building until in 1,000 years you have New York City with skyscrapers and fucking self-driving cars. Like, people are just going to keep building. So I always think about where I want to go with my life. And I think a thing that keeps me motivated is to, like, eventually one day you're going to be, hopefully you make it to this point. Hopefully you make it to the point where you're 96 years old and you're just laying there on the couch. I'm not going to be the one saying, even if I don't have Alzheimer's or some crazy shit, like, I'm not going to be the one laying there in my deathbed just being like, damn, I wish I tried that thing. I wish I did this. Like, I'm fucking here right now. So I'm going to try the thing. I always think about when I play video games, I talk about Far Cry 3. That's like one of the best video games I've played the past like 5 years. When I got to the end of that game and I owned all 3 of the islands and there wasn't a single bad guy on the islands at all, there was nothing left to do. So this process of trying to get it is like the adventure. I don't know, there was just something in me that just kept me going, man. Like, this is the thing I always say, no matter how bad I fuck up with what I'm trying to do, tomorrow I'll be back trying again. There's just something in me that's just, I'm not the hardest worker. I mean, I think I've instilled hard work, but I haven't always been the hardest worker my whole life. I feel like something that I am is just like a dreamer. Like, I'm constantly just like thinking about the what if. And like, I just don't want to live the same normal life as everyone else. I just want to try to do something cool. And that's it. That's what keeps me motivated. All right, this next one is by Prod. Dylan_.
How long did it take you to sell your first beat?
You know what's funny, actually? So like, I want to say in 2015, right? 2015. This is before, for all of you that know the story from my podcast, it's before I moved to Florida, before I even started taking it seriously. I told you guys I was making beats for like 3 years on and off. The day I leased a beat on PayPal to some kid that hit me up. I don't know how the hell he found me, but he hit me up and found me somehow, and I just leased a random beat through PayPal. Just an MP3 lease, literally $10 is what I sold it for. Sold the MP3 lease for. So that was technically the first beat I leased. So I guess it took a couple years of just messing around. I wasn't taking it seriously. I didn't think you could do anything with it. I was just making beats in my dorm and then at home for like a couple years. Just making trash beats for 2 years. And it was like the first decent beat I made, actually. It was the first beat I made where I was like, holy shit, maybe like I'm actually good at this. Maybe these aren't all just garbage. And I was starting to figure it out a little bit. At least that one. But what's funny is the day I joined my Flash store, which is now called Airbit, the next morning, this is such a coincidence. The next morning I woke up and I sold like 5 leases that night while I was sleeping. And I woke up the next morning and made like $50, and I was tweaking out at the time, because $50 at the time, even though I was like 22 years old, $50 off of selling beats was like the craziest shit ever to me. But it wasn't until I started taking it like serious that I started selling beats. So it definitely takes a year or two to, it takes some time, depending on how hard you work, to make something that someone is actually going to spend money for, because they actually want to make a song out of it. So however long it takes is how long it's going to take to actually maybe sell one. But to consistently sell it takes some time to figure that out. But next one is by Seth the Poet 480.
So Kyle, I'm just starting a YouTube channel, planning on doing 20 videos, 20 beats, 20 songs, all in 1 month, plus or minus a few. Do you think that's ambitious to start a YouTube channel again or not?
I think what you should try to do is just start with putting out like a video a week. Or like, even if you were like, I'm going to put one out every single day. Just set a goal. Don't say I'm going to put out 20. If you're going to put out 20 every month, that's okay. But I think set it more specifically. Like, I'm going to put one out every day, every 3 days, every 4 days, every Monday, Wednesday, Friday, every whatever. Set a goal for yourself that, and you might have to adjust it. You might be like, oh shit, I can put one out every other day, or I can put 2 out every week, or I can put out more than what I thought, or this is too much, I have to put out less, depending on whatever it depends on. I wanted to put a video out every single day, and then I was like, this is like too much. It's like way too robotic. There's so much stuff. It's way too much. I can't do this right now. So I just committed to putting one out every other day. Because like, here's the thing. What's better? Putting out a video every week, putting out 1 video every week for 2 years, or putting out 20 videos for a month and a half. You know what I mean? Or for a month, and then halfway through the second month you stop. The thing is, the biggest thing is consistency. Set a goal for yourself. I'm gonna do this many videos a week. I'm gonna do this many videos a month. But the key is to stay consistent to that goal. Or else you're at nothing. Like, there's no point. It's just gonna, with the internet the way it is, it's gonna completely die out. If I just stop posting everything a year from now, who the fuck is Kyle Beats? I'd never heard of him. So that's the way the internet works. So it's about consistency. And when you're consistent, your skills get a lot better. My beats have gotten so much better. My videos have gotten better. My on camera fucking personality has gotten a lot better. So next one's from Zaya_beats. I think I did this backwards, so let's hear it again. Next one's Zaya_beats.
Yo Kyle, what's your favorite book or piece of self-help content that you've read or absorbed, and how does it help you with your music production?
I think one of the biggest things that impacted me was, I remember my mom sent me this like motivational video when I was in like college or something. I was like a freshman or sophomore in college, and it was, the video started off with the classic clip of Jim Carrey saying, I wrote myself a check for $10 million, and then I think I made $10 million on Dumb and Dumber or whatever, like a year later or something like that. And whatever it was about that video, it was like a montage of all these motivational people talking about stuff. The dude that wrote Rich Dad, Poor Dad, I didn't know who any of these people were at the time. Donald Trump before he became president, and people actually liked him. And it was just all these motivational people giving motivational speeches and just saying that you can do anything, essentially. Saying that if you put your mind to something. Jim Carrey was saying how his father could have been a great comedian, but because he was too afraid of not succeeding, he didn't go for it. And then he got fired from his accounting job, and they had to struggle. And what did he say? He was like, if you can fail at something you don't want to do, why not try to do something that you love? I just went down a fucking rabbit hole. Until I still watch them to this day just because I fucking love them. Not because I need motivation, but just because I just love hearing those speeches. And something clicked like a year later. I was like, all right, if Will Smith and Jim Carrey are telling me to go after the thing that I think I can be good at, go after trying to be my own boss and be an entrepreneur. I'm so familiar with the internet at the time, which was just websites. There's no apps. iPhones were not, they were a thing, but no, it wasn't like today where everyone just has one. People had flip phones and all this shit. But I knew about the internet. I knew people were making money on eBay. I knew people were making money on the internet just sitting from home. So I was like, man, you can just be there's a way to make money without doing these stupid jobs. It's like, who am I going to listen to? My fucking teacher that's telling me one thing, my parents, this fucking kid in one of my classes saying that he wants to get a job to have health insurance, or am I going to listen to fucking Jim Carrey and Will Smith, successful millionaires, and everybody looks up to them? Like, who am I going to listen to? You know what I mean? To me, they had more credibility to me, so I listened to them, and then I went down a rabbit hole of just so many other people. I mean, now this content is everywhere. You can listen to a Gary Vee podcast for a week and be like, all right, I know what I'm doing with my life. Like, that shit didn't exist back then. It was just kind of speeches and stuff. It was like montages of it was like montages of like these great people at like Stanford graduation speeches or whatever. What was the question? So I don't really read a lot, but I just think you need to put stuff in like that into your brain from like podcasts or listen. When people don't get it, and I can tell people that don't understand and they want more out of life and they don't want to work their stupid job, literally what I tell them to do is go listen to Gary Vee. Like, that's just what I tell them to do, because they will just start to understand it more. And it's like anything, it just takes time to just get clarity, and just get rid of fucking people that suck in your life and whatever. All right, the next one is from Benjamin_Meyer.
Hey, what's up, Kyle? So I just hit 100 subs on my channel, my YouTube channel, and I just want to know if you got any tips for like young producers like me to keep on growing, how to progress with your channel, and little tips and stuff.
Just keep going, man. Just keep going. Something I always say is, what did I say? Getting your first 1,000 subscribers is harder than getting 100,000. Or I think it was getting the first 10,000 getting the first 10,000 subscribers is harder than getting 100,000 subscribers, because it's like a snowball effect. And that's kind of like a reason why I work harder now than I ever did before, because it's just like any one of this fucking podcast could just blow up for some reason, because of the title I put or something, like, or because of something maybe I say in this. Like, anything you do can literally, like, at the point I'm at now, like, the possibilities are endless. Like, someone could just, Aries put out the fucking Carousel song after he was doing all this YouTube shit, and I forget what he explained it to me on the podcast, I think, but it got into a couple good playlists. He found a good manager. It got into a couple good playlists. He had the whole YouTube brand on lock, all the initial fans going there, and it just hit the right way. He made fucking good music, got to the right it was like trending on the viral fucking top 50 or some shit. And now he's got 1 million monthly listeners after all this time he was trying to put out music videos for years and years and years and working on music and all this stuff. And then it just happened. So you just have to keep going and just keep putting out stuff and keep getting better. Next one is from Miguel Moreno.
How did you tell your parents that you want to be a music producer or a beat producer? Have you gone to music theory classes?
Music theory classes, nah. Got the internet. Nah, I just learned everything just from messing around FL Studio and just like the internet tutorials or whatever. The things that I make now is how I learned. How did I tell my parents? I didn't say anything. I didn't really tell anyone. I think people still don't even understand what the hell I even do. And now with what I'm doing, I'm able to stay. My mom has cancer. For a lot of you guys know this. I'm able to stay home and help her when my sister has to go to work. And if I wasn't doing what I'm doing, I wouldn't be able to stay at home and have a studio in my house and a ton of other shit. So, like, dude, forget anyone else. Fuck everything else. Like, this is what I always said. Like, my mom wanted me to get a job. My mom wanted me to get health insurance just because she wanted me to be good, just because they fucking care about you. They're your parents. When you grow up and have fucking kids, I'm sure if I have fucking kids, you're all gonna feel the same way. I can't even have someone. It's hard for me to have someone else work on Kyle Beats, let alone having a kid. I'm gonna want to control everything that little guy does or little girl does or whatever. So they just want to look out for you, but at the end of the day, you have to look out for yourself, because at the end of the day, it's your life, and that's it. If I didn't do this producer stuff, my mom would have had to go to a nursing home after her 3rd surgery or whatever, just because, or my sister would have had to quit her job, or some crazy shit would have had to happen. It wouldn't have been like, oh, well, Kyle works from home so he can just stay here when nobody's at the house and he can take care of her for these days. And now she's able to be at home in her own house. So at the end of the day, you have to do what's best for you and fuck everyone else. And the quicker you learn that, the better off you are. And it's a scary thing, but that's it. The thing I wish the most upon people is just clarity. I think that's the thing I push the most. And it's a word that I don't think a lot of people really talk about. And it's clarity that I've gotten over my life of just trusting my fucking gut, not doing the things people want me to do. And here I am doing what I want to do every single day, and literally just with the control, just going with my fucking gut, and just now I just have the control over my whole destiny, and it's all on me. And I can fucking turn this off right now and just sleep for the rest of the day if I wanted to, which I'm not going to do. But you have to do what you want at the end of the day. And I just want to help people get clarity in life. That's like a thing that I really see that people just don't have. They're kind of just like stuck in this thing where their subconscious knows what they want to do, but they're kind of just like fuzzy in the way they think because of the way that the people around them or just like society makes them think. But yeah, hopefully my voice didn't crack too much during this. That's the end of the podcast. I hope you guys enjoyed it. This was an amazing podcast today. I will definitely be doing this again. If you don't want to miss out on this, make sure you go follow me at Kyle Beats, because that's my new Instagram username. So go follow at Kyle Beats and just fucking stay up to date with what I'm doing. Make sure you subscribe wherever you're watching, listening, or viewing. Thanks for watching, listening, or viewing. I appreciate it. Until the next one, I'll see you guys, hear you guys in the next one. Use the code KB Podcast to get a discount on all my kits or beats on my website, kylebeats.com/kids for kids, just kylebeats.com for beats. And until the next one, see ya in the next one. Peace.